Hello everyone, welcome. It's Crafty Carol here from Northern Ireland with another set of little projects for you. And today I wanted to focus on this particular item from the catalogue. It's the brushed gold cards and envelopes. And there are 20 cards and 20 envelopes. They're all the same. So I get some out to show you. The envelopes are stuck in. There we go. Put that out of the way. So the envelopes are already decorated. I've got two out there. So you've got the flap all decorated and the brushed gold just down the side. So that's the envelope. And the cards are just decorated on the outside with this sort of brushed gold. And obviously they're already scored, so we can fold it over. And you've got a choice, because when you fold it over, you've basically got one side where there's more white and slightly less gold, on the other side where there's slightly more gold and slightly less white. So totally your choice which side you use. So I've got three different cards to show you today. Some of the bits already ready there. I shall get them out in a minute. The first one I want to show you is this one. This was an idea I actually saw on Pinterest, and I've done my own version of it. And I can't remember again. Do you know, when you go into Pinterest, you see these things. I really ought to write them down when I see them, because I can't find them again when I go back. Anyway, it was somebody who just used some stars on the front and they look lovely. So I thought that's a great idea. So this is using Lost the stamp set. It's using the Stars at Night stamp set and dies from the Oh Holy Night suite. And what I've done is I've just cut the three stars, and this is the die that fits inside the embossing folder, so they come out embossed, as you can see. So I've cut three of the stars from basic white, and then I've cut the smaller dies, the smaller star dies. I've cut three of those to go in the centre of the stars. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick these into the stars. So there's two slightly smaller ones which go in the smaller star, and then one long thin one which goes in the long thin star. So I really ought to use my little tweezers for this, but I'll do it with my fingers and I hope it works. There we go. So that's the first one stuck on, and this other one can go in the other big star. So I'm just putting a little bit of Tombow around there, and then I can use the embossing to guide where I'm sticking that on the centre. You could cut the whole star, of course, out of gold foil, totally up to you. I decided that would probably be overkill, although I might try that, who knows. So let me just get this on. So that's another one. And I'm just going to leave these to dry for a bit, because this one's a bit more awkward because it's got to be in the middle. There. Just want to leave those to dry because I don't want to risk those things coming off, because they're just lined up properly. And then I've already, on a piece of basic white, I've embossed Merry Christmas from the Stars at Night set, and I'm just going to mount that on some gold, my remaining little bit of gold foil. So to do that, I'm going to put some glue on, and then I'm going to decide on my border. Oop, if I can get it to stick, there we go. Decide on the size of my border, stick it like that, and then trim it round. You could measure and then cut out the piece, then stick it on. I don't think it really matters, but I just had this bit of gold foil left, so then I can use my scissors or your trimmer, of course, to just trim off. So I've got the same border all around my sentiment. So those are the three bits I've got to stick on. I'll stick on around the card. We can decide where do we want them. So I'm going to change this one round from the, I have already done one, of course. I might change this round a bit. Now I think actually my original layout was good. Let me find, I've lost the card. Here we go. So all I did here was I stuck this sentiment down the bottom. I don't think I am going to play around with it much. I think the best way to reverse it would probably be to stick the sentiment at the top and then have that one there, perhaps. That layout might work a bit. No, it doesn't fill it in quite so well, does it? I think I'll stick with this layout. So I'll stick these on later to make a second card like that. You play around, decide how you want to do it. But that's my first card. So I've just basic white stars cut out with the Stars at Night die and embossing folder, the smaller ones cut out of gold foil, and then the sentiment embossed in gold. So I'm just going for a really simple one, well, duochromatic, I suppose, 2 colours, gold and white. So that's the first card. Then the second card, I decided I'd use a different set. I want to show you how these cards can be used with all these different sets. So I used the Joy of Noel set. And again, I've got my card, and I have cut out this time, I've cut out various bits from it in gold. This is the gold glitter foil. This is it. But the beauty of it, it's glimmer, silver and gold glimmer, adhesive backed glimmer paper. And that's the beauty of it. It's got an adhesive backing. So I don't need to faff about trying to get little tiny bits of glue on the back of here, because I can just take off the backing and stick them on. So again, I've got my card base from the set. I've also cut out, in more of the gold glitter glimmer paper, I've cut out this sort of frond, which is also from the Stars at Night die set. So it just remains to put this card together. So I'm going to start with the middle letter. So when I'm sticking on something like a Noel, I want to start to get it where I want it. I'm going to start with putting the 0 just above halfway and stick that down, and then I can relate all the other letters to it, and they're not going to squish in the wrong place or look odd or whatever. So then I'll start with the E. This is so easy with this glimmer back paper. So I'll have the E next. Oh, how easy is this? I'd recommend you get some of this. Sadly, there's only 1 sheet of silver and 1 of gold in each pack, so it is quite expensive, but you can cut it carefully to make the best use of it so that you don't waste it. I have got my other gold glimmer paper to use up first, and actually I'd cut the frond out of the non-adhesive backed one, so I am going to have to put glue on that one. Finally. Right, so that's a fiddly bit, but hey. I'm going to line up the L with the E. There we go. So I've got my Noel down the side. Or you could have it as the 4 in the middle, or have it going diagonally, or whatever you want. And then I'm going to have to use glue on here because I forgot to use the adhesive backed glimmer paper. This is an old bit of glimmer paper from a previous pack. Try and use up everything. Obviously, I don't want to keep bits to hang around, so I do use some of my old stuff as well. I'm going to get glue all over myself if I try and do this holding it, so I'll do this. And I thought we'd just have that somewhere here, I think, just in the middle, roughly. I'll just hold that down a bit. Got lots of little tiny bits of glue on the fronds. Probably would have been better cutting it out of that. And then I have made a bow from a little remnant bit of the gold twine that I had. I'm going to stick that on with a glue dot. Which I will pick up from there. And because the bow is quite little, I don't want the full size of the glue dot, so I'm just going to use my tweezers there. Do I have it right at the bottom, or no, about there? Use my tweezers just to fold it over a bit, because I don't want it sticking out beyond the bow and sticking to other things. So that half squished glue dot is enough just to stick the bow on. So there is a very simple Noel card. Again, you don't need too much decoration on these cards because there's so much from the gold brushed adhesive. There's Gus barking in the background. So I'll show you another one I did, which is this one. And again, I used the glimmer paper to stick the Noels on. I used the other side of the card this time, that side. And I also used these. These are the loose holly gems and sequins, and they've got holly leaves and holly berries. I think there's 2 different sizes of berries, actually. There's tiny ones and there's bigger ones, yeah. And then there's lots of different holly leaves and these little gold notes, which are rather beautiful. So I stuck 2 little groups of those on just to make that card. So I've got 2 very different cards, but done in a very similar style. But that's not all. I have a third idea for you. The third one is using this set that I'm now dropping all over the floor. It's the Handmade Wishes set, which matches with the handmade tag. Oh, just picking up the stamp I dropped. And I'm just using one of the outlines. I'm actually using this outline, and I've put Merry Christmas and used the 2 little snowflakes, these 2, which are a joint stamp, and I put them together to use here. So go over how we do embossing, just to remind people, or tell you if you haven't done it before. So here is, I wonder if that'll fit in. Oh, it will. So I can really squish loads into my paper. So the main thing you need, piece of cards. I've just got a piece of basic white here, and then you do need an embossing buddy, and you need to rub that all over the bit of card you're going to stamp, because you want to get rid of any greasy fingerprints, because you do not want the embossing powder to stick where we don't want it to. We only want it to stick where we've stamped. The next thing you need is a Versamark stamp pad, really important. You can emboss using our inks if you're really quick, but you're much better to use the proper thing, the Versamark. It's nice and sticky ink, so it stays sticky for a while to allow you to make sure that the elements, the images that you're stamping, are covered properly. So I'm just going to stamp up this, and I'm going to be very parsimonious with I'll just do it that way. With this paper, I can get 6 out of this paper, I reckon, certainly 4 if I do it this way. Now I am going to stamp a sentiment into the middle, but I can't really see where I've done it, and I'm going to risk getting it wrong. So what I'm going to do is put the embossing powder on here before I stamp the middle bit. So I keep mine in one of these Chinese containers because it keeps it in one place and makes it slightly less likely to go all over the desk, although I still usually get a bit over the desk. So that's that one done. So then I'm going to, and you could heat and emboss that first, but I'm going to just remember that it goes this way up. Well, you could have it that way if you wanted. Yeah, you could, but I'm going to have it diagonally. So now I can see where those edges are, so I can stamp up my words. These are separate stamps I've just put together on the block. So I've used Merry Christmas and the 2 snowflakes. So make sure that's roughly in the middle and stamp. And then I can cover that in gold embossing powder. There we go. And you can see I haven't really got that stamp properly there. I might have to redo that one. That's fine, because there is one I've made earlier because I didn't want to deafen you by using the heat gun. So I will restamp that because I haven't quite got the snowflake right there. Very bad. Don't know why. This didn't obviously press on that bit of the stamp enough, but I did do one before. So once you've covered it in the embossing powder, then you use your heat gun to set it and get the beauty of, hopefully you can see that in the light, the beauty of the embossing powder melted, so you get this lovely gold shimmery effect. So there's my Merry Christmas with my 2 snowflakes properly stamped there. And then I've used the little notes, the little musical notes from this Loose Holly Gems and Sequins, and just stuck a line of those down the side. These are fiddly. That's again why I prepared this earlier, because they are fiddly. The best tool is to use this pickup tool, again from our main catalogue, because it has this little, I don't know, gungy end. It's a sticky end, and it means that you can, when you've got lots of little tiny loose gems like this, you can pick it up with the end. So if I wanted one more note, I can just pick up a note and it's stuck on there. I can put my glue where I want it and then stick my note on. I could stick another note on there just to show you, actually. So before I knock those over, there are so many of these, you can afford to be very generous with how many you put on a card. So I just know the note is about that long. So put my glue just a tiny bit on the card and then I can use my tool, my pickup tool, just to place it on the card, and there we have it. So much easier than trying to use your fingers where you'd get covered in glue and drop those things everywhere. I know, I've done it like that before. This tool is a godsend, definitely worth getting. It's got loads of other bits on it, so you've got a pointy pickup thing on the other end, and inside that there's a blade to pick up glitter or whatever you wanted with that. And there are other tools you can buy for it in a separate pack that come, but I use that sticky end. It's just brilliant for that. So there are, let's tidy up a bit and show you these things again. Here are these cards that I've made today. Where's the other one, which I seem to have lost? My star one. Where did I put that? I'll put it over here. There we go. So there's some ideas. There's the envelopes. The envelopes are great as well. There's some ideas to make from this set, from these cards and set. It just is so quick and easy when you have a lot of cards to make, and I have a lot of Christmas cards to make. I post about 40 and give about another 20 or 30 by hand, so I've got a lot of cards to make. These sorts of sets, the note cards and envelope sets, are really useful to be able to make really quick and easy cards. So I hope you enjoyed those ideas, and I hope you think about getting one of these card sets or any other. I'm all for quick and easy when it comes for Christmas. So thank you for joining me for this Christmas countdown. You can find more information on the blog at craftycarolscards.co.uk, and you please do as well subscribe to my video. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.